I think it should be live now on YouTube, and I won't send you a request. You'll have to follow me on the same thing, the same way you did. So you have to come on Instagram's page. So
Of course.
I've
So I
gone
go
live.
back. So I go back. I'm already on Instagram page of
Ha
Wysa.
ha ha.
Like the main.
So you'll just see us going live. You'll just see me going live,
Yeah.
and then you need to
Yeah.
click
It
there.
started a live video. Yeah. Okay.
Yes, yes. And now you need to just click. And I think we'll have to turn off the volume for one of our things. I think if there's no echo. Hi, everyone. We are live now.
I'm not getting a request.
No, you can just see on your page if you can say click. If you're on Visa's page on the live video, can you see me there?
Of course, but there's still image. I'm not seeing you live. It's a
Uh,
frozen image.
okay, I'll send you a request like I earlier did.
Yeah.
Okay. Hello, everyone. We are live on Instagram and YouTube, and we have our guest, Mr. Vijay Nalawalla. I'm just trying to get him online on Instagram. He's here on YouTube with us, and we are here for our. Have you been able to come in, Vijay?
Uh, because I'm still seeing a frozen image on Insta.
I
Should I click back, go back, and yeah, I'll just try that.
Yeah.
Okay, now, yeah, it's a very live. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, yeah, it was.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
I Yeah. I think I'll have to reduce the volume for one of them. Yeah, so now you'll have to send me a request to
Yeah, I've done
join
that.
me.
I've done that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I'll have to reduce one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, hello everyone. Can you hear me? There's an echo. I think Vijay, we'll have to reduce the volume for one of our devices or turn it off because there'll be an echo otherwise.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Uh, okay. Done it.
Okay. So we are here and we are discussing about bipolar disorder, and uh, it's something that's considered really mysterious, and it's considered because of its varied nature of symptoms and signs. Uh, there's often a lot of questions around it, and can everyone still hear an echo?
There is an echo. Yes.
I think one of us, have you turned off the volume for one of your
Yes.
device?
I have done that.
I wonder why is it still happening?
My mobile volume is off.
Okay, am I audible now?
There's a faint echo, but I think you're audible, Smriti. Shouldn't be
Okay,
an issue, you know.
okay. So we have a lot of concerns around bipolar. People have asked a lot of questions. There are a lot of myths around it. For example, people with bipolar cannot lead a normal life, and we have you with us. And I think there's no one better to answer this question when you've survived with it for, in fact, fought it and are living a normal life for the past couple of years now. Would you like to talk and tell the audience about a little bit about yourself and how have you been dealing with it?
Yeah, sure, Smriti. Firstly, thank you for having me on this live telecast. Hope that I'm going to add value in this session to many people who are still struggling to understand what this illness is about. I am Vijay Nalawalla from Mumbai. I am 57 years old. Smriti mentioned that I'm struggling with this condition since a couple of years. Actually, I'm now 57, and bipolar disorder first hit me when I was 14 years. So it's a 43-year-old journey for me. But I was diagnosed only in 2003 when I hit mania. So my earlier episodes of depression and psychosis were, neglected because due to lack of awareness, they were overlooked. They were neither treated for depression either. So in
Correct.
2003, when symptoms went haywire, and as happens in many cases of bipolar disorder affected, mania is the first, sort of a spike which leads to easy identification of the illness.
Right.
Yeah. So that's how it happened, and it led to a week's hospitalization. Post diagnosis, it's been a journey of say around 16 years. The initial 3-4 years were not hunky dory,
Mm-hmm.
but with the help of a supportive family, a very good psychiatrist, with the help of therapy, and of course my indomitable will, uh, I knew that somehow I could see the light at the end of the tunnel. I mean, there was going to be a way out of this. I found a way through it with the help of holistic healing, which we'll be talking about more in detail later.
All right. All right.
You want me to elaborate more on my story, Smriti?
No, I think let me just mute one of them. I think this is good enough, and I think we can come up with our next set of questions. I just
Yeah, please go on.
Okay. So a lot of people have asked that is it like once you are diagnosed with it, is it like living in a box?
On the contrary, I had a peer support community named as Bipolar India. We have a membership of 250 as of now. There are so many besides me who are thriving in their lives in all the important areas: relationships, career, hobbies, passions. I mean, it is not at all that you are going to be cut off from life because you have been stuck with this diagnosis. Not at all. I think that's a matter of choice. You choose whether you want to live a life of discipline, whether you are going to reclaim what you have lost, or you're going to succumb to your challenges, as it is
Right.
in any major chronic illness.
Okay, all right. So that's very helpful. And I think a lot of people have this feeling that it's a very mysterious disease because of the nature of this, the cyclical nature that people experience. So is it always like there is a mania followed by a depression or a depression followed by a mania? Are there no phases that people can feel that they're at their normal self?
In fact, that's another bugbear. Typically, I mean, when people say it's all about mood swings, but that's not exactly what we are about. It's not always the extreme ends of polarity, either in a high or either in a very low depressive phase. It's not exactly clear cut as that. Of course, there are long phases of normal mood phases, or mildly depressive phases, as one would call them. People in bipolar disorder 1, for instance, there is a percentage of them who might never experience depression at all. They might
I see.
experience
Yeah, only manic phases.
only manic phases and normal phases or hypomanic phases. So
Correct.
just banding everybody together and saying that it's just about swinging between mania and depression, it's not a true picture at all. It doesn't work like that. For instance, I have been in remission, which is a period of fair stability for I think 5-6 years now. I haven't
All
had
right.
any mood episode worth talking about, which would really disturb me.
All right. That's something that people are, I think, looking forward to hearing about. That what are the self-management strategies that you have used that have helped you stay, symptom-free or managing yourself like a stable life? Because this is something that comes up a lot with bipolar. That people cannot have successful lives. Though I think some of the most successful and entertaining people also have been people with bipolar. There are so many from the entertainment industry, from people who are authors and people who have made really big in life who've been diagnosed with bipolar.
Very true. In fact, see, there is an uh, unestablished link between creativity, genius, and bipolar disorders. So let's not enter into that territory because there is no clinical evidence to support it. But I mean, whichever way we look at it, that people have flourished in their respective careers, be it arts, be it music, be it performances, or even academic careers. Yeah.
Yeah.
So one can live with it. You asked me, I mean, what were the tools I adopted?
Yes, the self-management strategies that probably people can, as caregivers, that people can suggest it to their loved ones,
Yeah.
or people can adopt it for themselves when they're struggling with bipolar to cope with it better.
See, I would say the first and the biggest step is acceptance. Coming to terms that I have this illness, you know,
Hmm.
and a balanced approach at that. Neither should I get overwhelmed by it, neither should I sort of try to neglect and be in denial, that I don't have any illness. And the same goes for the family and caregivers. I know of a lot of people who are already diagnosed and their families are in denial. So it's a two-way story. Or then the families are accepting the illness and the person affected is in denial. Okay. So acceptance is important for both the sets of people, right? The person affected as well as the caregiving family. Okay.
Correct.
Yeah. So once you come to acceptance, then it is easy to find the path ahead. Then
But see, the stigma around it is so high. Even just about around depression, it's so high. Mania is something which people look at as something aggressive, full of aggression, full of destructiveness, and the first, thing that comes to people's mind is institutionalization for such people. If people have been diagnosed with specifically bipolar 1 or mania, it's a severe episode. Is hospitalization something that is, or institutionalization is something that is a recommended thing for people with bipolar, or people can do well, manage themselves well outside of it, and mania is not as threatening as it appears
well, see,
from the
I think
description?
it all entirely depends whether even in the case of mania, whether the person is willing to adhere to the treatment plan. Often hospitalization is not advised because of the threat of violence. I mean,
Right.
that is an exaggerated point of view that mania. I mean, person with mania is going to be like a raving, uh, mad, or person totally out of control, smashing things around. It's not always like that. In fact, research says people with mental illness are more prone to be victims of crime and violence rather than perpetrators of the same. Okay, so if a person is compliant to treatment, I don't think the need for hospitalization would be there. Okay. Question comes when the family cannot cope with the person in mania stage and they themselves prefer that the person should be hospitalized to ensure that all the medication goes into him or her at the proper times and that there is 24 by 7 watch over that person. That's the reason for hospitalization.
Okay. Some people have asked that what happens, how do you differentiate between a hypomanic phase and a manic phase? So, hypomanic would be less intense probably than a real active manic phase. It would be more.
Certainly, of course. Of course, uh, as you would know very well, bipolar disorder is not in a linear. I mean, the moods are not
Yes.
in one line at all. It's all about uh, the variations and the intensities of moods. Okay, so on one extreme you have got severe depression, and on the other extreme is you have mania, full blown
Yes.
mania with psychosis. Yeah? Now, the one clear differentiating factor for any layperson is during mania, the person is likely to be delusional and the person loses touch with reality.
Right. So
In
there is an element of psychosis that can be seen there.
Yes. So that loss of touch with reality is what is the dangerous. I mean, that's what makes the whole situation dangerous. You know? The actions, the decisions, and actions arising from that situation could lead to a lot of complications later on. You know, financial decisions, breakages of relationships do happen in mania, unfortunately, because of
Yes.
this. Okay. In hypomania, I mean, of course, again, hypomania is not one level of hypomania. There can be moderate levels of hypomania, which
Right.
my psychiatrist used to laugh and say sometimes it is ethically wrong for him to treat mild hypomania. Okay, because I am at my
People are,
product best.
yes.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm functional, but does not affect my clarity of thought process. But hypomania also can go escalate to a level where it can be harmful,
Yeah.
where I can be overconfident and sort of extend myself beyond my own
Yeah.
capabilities.
The high risk behavior increases.
Yes. And of course, the risk of spilling over to mania. Okay,
All
that's
right.
the biggest risk. Yeah.
All right. There's a request from someone, somebody suggesting that can you, try muting your laptop and see if it reduces the echo.
My laptop,
Yeah.
uh, then I'll have to raise the volume of the mobile because how am I going to hear your
Yes.
question?
Yes. So we can, if you can try, if you can try switching that.
Yeah. Okay. Just give me a minute.
Okay. Is this better?
Just a second. Settings.
I can hear you. I think it's, yeah, I think it's better. Can somebody from the audience let us know if it's this is better than what was happening earlier? Oh, there's a lot of echo.
No, no,
Can
that's not helping. It's not
uh,
helping.
yeah,
And if I'm muted here, the Hangout session would be affected, Smriti,
uh, that won't happen. Try it.
because I'm not too certain there.
Yeah, we can hear you. Can somebody tell us if he's audible on the YouTube live also? Okay, let's try and see what people respond to with this conversation. So there are more questions that have come up. So we were talking about, you mentioned about acceptance and then making some other changes. So how does one move towards acceptance? Because I think that is the hardest thing. I think looking at an illness as an illness, and not that illness becomes you. The illness is not all defining criteria for a person. So and it's hard, I understand, because if it is a physical disability, it is more visible. You can see a you can see some that suffering, that physical pain. With the emotional aspects, with the psychological disorders, unfortunately it has to do with the brain, and the brain is an organ as much as the other parts of the body. And as long as we see it as a biological thing happening, even though there could be triggers which could be intensifying the depression or the mania that a person is experiencing, yet it is something which is categorized as an illness. And there are other aspects to the person, whether it is the person who is suffering himself or is it a loved one that you have, which are still existing, which still completes the person as they are. Yeah. So I think those points, if some people can, register and keep in mind and keep reminding each other, so there would be conflicts and there would be difficult phases where somebody may get unmanageable, or it becomes like a financial burden sometimes when the hospitalizations increase or the medication cost, etc. I think it would similarly happen for a serious chronic physical illness too.
I mean, I am criticized by bipolar disorder. I have been living with severe and acute asthma since the last 40 years now. So, I mean, as a child, kind of growing up adolescent, I had that struggle with asthma. It's not easy to live with. There's a lot of restrictions around it. Gradually, one sort of gets takes it one is just right. That's what happens.
Yeah. So what kind of lifestyle changes? Sorry, you're continuing. Please go ahead.
Yes, sorry. Here I would like to mention the role of peer support in the community. For instance, a lot of people within our community initially joined us with with the resistance in mind. No, I don't have this. So I won't say that everybody is trying around view of compliance, but it does help with discipline. And I didn't the regulation of treatment and so
All
when
right.
they see that how what's helping the majority.
Right. So peer support is something we also see on our YouTube community and our Insta community also. There are a lot of people, even as the live is happening, there are questions that keep appearing on the live chat, and there are people who keep offering suggestions, who keep telling what, people could do, what they have tried. And that feeling, that support is something I think very important. Also in not feeling alienated that I'm the only one with this condition, and also that it is an illness just like any other thing, and it's not a weakness within me, a deficiency within me, that I'm the only one who has because often with a lot of psychological disorders, people have this feeling, why me?
And the other part is the part of it is uh, the non-judgmental environment that people can open.
Right.
Because if you are you are a person affected by bipolar disorder, I know that you will resonate with that.
Yes.
So sometimes it works better than even a medical profession. So sometimes, whereas each person can see that I might have a barrier, he doesn't know what I'm going through.
Yeah.
That barrier is broken when a person is within a few years of age.
Right.
Talking about self-management tools, people raising that much.
Yes, because there are people who have asked that how do you survive the entire journey. So there would be some changes, or some, like for example, people with diabetes may have to make certain lifestyle changes to kind of manage and continue their journey feeling healthy and fit. So it's not just about appearing normal or appearing fine, it's also about the health, because there's a strong mind body connection, and it's not just that people with mania or bipolar or depression or even stress will not feel experience physical impact of it, because decision making becomes poor, the lifestyle decisions become poor, people are unable to think what is right, what is wrong. A lot of people with bipolar struggle with a lot of other concerns like alcoholism and gambling or other high risk behaviors. So how does one find a balance where they don't stop living their life the way they want to entertain themselves or live, at the same time make it sure that it's not too risky for them? So what are those lifestyle changes that have helped you? I think this is something which is very relevant for a lot of people, because I have a lot of clients on our coach platform somebody who's like who are way ahead in their age, who have had lived experiences for very long with certain conditions, but the repetitive nature of the illness kind of frustrates them and drains them out about as to when will it end, or will I have to struggle with it forever. And like you say that maybe there have been losses which have been too big for them to deal with, and that is traumatic itself, and that comes back to them as to what has this illness cost them. So how do they come to terms with, and I think I really liked your point about the overall wellness. So it's not that I will just do certain things to manage bipolar. I will do all of these things because they make me healthy. So I think similar things also help with people who are trying to lose weight and they can't adhere to exercise or diet because they expect quick results. And you cannot do it in 1 month or 2 months, and then like I'm not losing any weight, and they stop doing it. But the thing is that it's not just about losing weight or getting that cure. It's about moving towards wellness, because regular exercise and good diet will anyways help your body in multiple ways.
That's what as, as you said, people with chronic, I think the driver should be a motivation, and the motivation could be something positive rather than a push from how do I recover. The positive part could be how can I take the charge of my life, living a life the best of my ability.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So another thing people ask is that will we have to be, like you've already mentioned that you've been in remission for many years now and you're maintaining well. So are you still continuing on some form of medication? Does the medication continue throughout?
As far as I know, I have yet to meet a person who is off medication for a long period of time and who is still very stable. There's say that after many, many decades of medication, you are able to withdraw medication. But I've stopped wondering on those points. As such, the medication I am on is the very. So, and the side effects of I don't feel any significant side effects breaking my life. So, for instance, if I were a diabetic, I would have to be on medication for my life.
Yes.
For my asthma, I need to be on my inhaler doses. Although they have come down from 24 inhaler doses a day to 2 inhaler doses.
Wonderful. And I think here the exercise and the strict regimen that you're following is helping not just with one condition but also with your asthma, and to help you stay fit and also be more attentive. So it's not just that it affects your moods, right? So usually, like you began with the statement that often bipolar is considered